Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's see if I can pause this. Well, I hope everybody is having a good beginning to their Saturday. And always fun to do an unboxing, isn't it? We never quite know. It's like the saying, life is like a box of chocolates. And when we're doing an unboxing, we're wondering what kind of chocolate has been sent to the workshop. And I hinted at the title that we're also going to be looking at something relating to Switzerland this morning, just briefly to kind of whet our appetite. So without further ado, let me look at the live chat and see who we have so far that's joined us on this Saturday. Okay, it looks like we've got a small group today. We're going to have like a private classroom session almost. Say good morning to Candido from New York and good morning to Susie from Minnesota. And I'll kind of delay part of what I was going to do with this live stream because the people that submitted some reviews for Cow Country, hopefully they are present so that they know whether or not we vote for them. And then I can declare potentially who the winner of these Gutenheim custom tailoring scissors is. And if we don't have enough people in the live stream today and we don't have the people that submitted reviews, I might postpone giving these away. I might end up delaying that and look at an option as far as giving more of a window of opportunity to folks, maybe until Tuesday, in submitting some additional reviews. We got 2, but if we can get some additional reviews in as well, and what I might do so that the people that previously submitted reviews for Cow Country don't feel slighted, I might decide to include their reviews as well. And then whoever's at the live stream, have them vote on any review that's been posted for Cow Country. And whoever gets the most votes will win these really cool tailoring scissors. And I can't say enough good things about these. They really are wonderfully made. And I've only had them a short time, but there's other people that have had them for a couple of years. Apparently, they're not a brand new thing. I thought that they were, but they've been out for a while. And lots of positive reviews, video testimonials, and everything else about these. And again, the puzzling, almost magical thing about these shears is they're made in China, but they have that engineering that would be German type engineering in them. I think it says in their promotional stuff, and promotional stuff is what you make out of it, I guess, but it takes about 33 steps or something like that in order to make these shears. And they've done a beautiful job, I think, with their branding as well. Their branding is just classy looking. And that's why right away with the name and, just kind of the classy look to them, I figured they were probably German made, but they're Chinese made with kind of a German flavor, engineering, design, blah, blah, blah to them. So whoever gets a hold of these, I'll be interested to get their testimonial to see what they think of them. But everything I've tried to cut with these material wise, it's just like a hot knife through butter. I mean, they're really quite amazing. And then we also have some of these double eye needles that we might give away today. I already gave one set away, or one packet away. I believe it was to Jenny out in Ohio. I'd have to look at my notes for sure, but she's going to be getting a pack of those. And then I've got a couple more that we could potentially give away today. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just checking to make sure. Yep. Yep, I got it right. Jenny from Ohio is the one that won them in the last live stream. And I've got to still mail them out, but these are fun to try to, check out if you haven't tried them yet. See what kind of results you get with them. My attempt at, kind of messing around with them a little bit wasn't a stand up and cheer experience. I think I have to get just the right setup for them to do their duty. But yeah, people are starting to use them. They're starting to find the right setup that works best with them, and we'll see what happens with these. These might be a short-lived thing because they're not going to give you exactly the same results that you expect from a twin needle. So, but I applaud Schmetz and trying to come up with something different, trying to come up with something that's kind of cool. So we'll see. We'll see. See if there's any other good mornings I have to say real quick. So no one else that I see in the live chat so far. No one else I see yet. Just Susie and Candido in the live chat. Folks are kind of moving slow today on the 22nd of April. Folks are moving kind of slow. Slow as you can go. So let me give you, I'm going to move these to the side. Oh, I also have this. I thought about giving this away as well. Maybe all of you can come up with an idea how I can eventually give this away. Back in the day, it's been probably a good couple of years ago, I used to give a couple of these away regularly. I had gotten a bunch of them at the same time. And as we move into spring and summer, people are not probably as inclined to be drinking hot beverages unless it's first thing in the morning. But this is a fun mug, and it says, "This mug belongs to a sewing addict. Warning, conversation liable to include sewing." I've got to change my camera angle a little bit. There we go. Now you can see it. Now you can actually see it. So I'm thinking about giving this away too, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. And it's printed on both sides. But this would be a great mug. It's a pretty good sized mug for coffee, tea, hot chocolate. Who knows what you might put in it? Some people might, what they might do with a mug like this? They might not even use it for drinking. They might put some sort of soil in here and put a little potted plant that they have in their sewing area. That would be another idea. You could use it as a little planter for something. But I've got this to give away as well, and I'd be curious to see if anyone comes up with any clever ideas. We've been doing, hey, text something to me, go ahead and call in, do something, do this, do that. But maybe we can come up with another way that we could potentially give this mug away. This might be my last mug. I may have to look at ordering more eventually. But I've had this mug for a while, and I think it's time to take it out of the box and to send it to somebody's house. I just don't know how we're going to do it yet. So if you have any ideas or thoughts on that, let me know. So between the mug, the Gutenheim shears, and the double eye needles, we're having all kinds of giveaway prize opportunities going on, which is kind of fun, isn't it? I don't think I've ever met someone that doesn't like to win something or doesn't like to get something for free. It's human nature, isn't it? It's kind of human nature. Okay, well, a couple of clues for you on what we might be unboxing today. And let me just say this, that Hank was upstairs and alerted me that there was a delivery going on. And I went up there, and sure enough, he's my early warning radar. Sure enough, when I look on the front steps of the workshop, here sits this box. And my initial impression, you get like an initial impression when you look at something, and it just right away you zero in on a certain feeling. It's either a sense of, wow, that looks really good. Maybe it's in a tote, or it's in a real rugged box like the last unboxing we did, I think, for that FOF 332. My initial impression when I looked at this, and I gave honest feedback to Ronnie. Ronnie's actually the one that sent this from the great state of Nevada. And I don't know if Ronnie and our other friend Mindy know each other. They probably don't. The state's big enough, unless they meet at the mini mart or the mall or something like that. I don't think they know each other. But Mindy, as you know, I just got done shipping that huge container with that 66K in it out towards her in Nevada. So it's kind of fun, isn't it? We're sending one huge package out to Nevada at the same time another package is heading this way to the workshop, also from Nevada. And so, yeah, it's like a little bit of ping pong match going on there. But I told her, I said, my initial impression looking at the box is my heart kind of sank. My heart kind of sank, and I looked at that and I go, oh, goodness gravy, what are we going to find? What are we potentially going to find inside of the box? Because as I show you the box, it's not like the last box where I talked about it being pretty sturdy. This one has quite a bit of give. It's not quite a toilet paper box like we've gotten a couple of machines in, where, I mean, if you can set a scale of the cheapest corrugation of cardboard on the earth, that's kind of what they use those boxes for, to store toilet paper, paper towels, paper products that are pretty much bulletproof, that they can ship them and bounce them and bang them and whack them and kick them and everything else, and nothing's going to happen to that stuff inside. You can't hardly damage toilet paper, by shipping it. You can't damage paper towel. That's the beauty of shipping stuff like that, is you don't have to use a real fancy corrugated box. You can put it in almost a Ziploc bag, and it's going to get there, and it's going to be usable. It's going to be something that you can put to use. But this box looks like it was probably for Quaker cereal. If I turn it around this way, see if I can pivot it this way, you might be able to read the side of the box. Yeah, you can see it. Quaker cereal. So apparently cereal doesn't require outstanding corrugated boxes either, because this, from what I'm pushing on the outside and the give that it has, and I emphasize the give factor because the give factor allows whatever is on the outside impacting that cardboard to press in against that machine that is cradled inside of that cardboard box. So this has a lot of give on it. And Ronnie said she did a double boxing, which is great. But again, if the boxes that you're double boxing aren't sturdy enough, it's more window dressing than it is really serious packing. And I'm not trying to insult Ronnie at all, but I'm just giving honest feedback, like I told her I would. You've got to choose a corrugated box if you're going to use this sort of shipping method that's going to be able to resist impacts and drops and everything else. And this is this on a scale of, say, 1 to 10, 1 being the crummiest corrugated box on earth, and 10 being the greatest corrugated box on earth as far as shipping a sewing machine. This is probably about, from what I can see and feel, it's probably about a 3. It's probably about a 3. So maybe the box on the inside, since Ronnie said she double boxed it, maybe the outside one, the skin of protection, is a 3, but maybe the one on the inside we're going to find is maybe a 5 or a 6 or maybe even better. So let's keep our fingers crossed, because the machine that we're going to be unboxing is not a lightweight. It's a heavier machine. And I'm going to give you some clues on what this maker and model might be, so that you can toss out some guesses in the live chat, and we can have a little bit of fun with the mystery of what Ronnie sent. And if Ronnie is in the live chat right now, I told her we were going to be doing this morning. If she's in the live chat right now, remember, Ronnie, mum's the word. Don't give any direct clues as to what you shipped. And I should look at the live chat. I hopefully didn't say that too late, but don't tell them what you sent to the workshop if you're in the live chat. Let's keep it a secret. Let's build a little bit of mystery and suspense. and then we'll finally be able to reveal what you sent. But in the meantime, I'll give some really good clues so that you can hopefully zero in on what this machine might be. So Quaker Oats, Quaker cereal, they've been around forever. If anyone for fun wants to Google, since this is the box that Roni used, if anyone wants to Google, when was Quaker Oats, Quaker cereal, whatever they would be called originally, when did they come into existence? When was that company founded, Quaker? Because it gives the impression, I mean, that was like long time ago. They've been around forever. I think I ate Quaker Oats when I was a kid growing up. So I know that they've been around at least 50 plus years, probably, if I remember correctly, along with Tab. Everybody remember the Tab drink? I think, isn't that the one that I don't remember what their slogan was. Maybe that's the one that was supposed to help you lose weight. I don't remember. But Quaker Oats, whenever they were founded, maybe they used better boxes back in the day. You know what I mean? Maybe they used better boxes back in the day and they were a little bit more sturdy. Because in this one, as I wiggle it, I can hear that machine moving around inside too. Here on the bottom, I'm going to kind of tilt it this way. You can see our corrugation on the bottom is actually starting to come apart. I think what's holding this on right now, it looks like maybe a combination of staples and some glue. And let me just encourage you, if you use a box like this to ship a machine to the workshop, I wouldn't trust those staples. I wouldn't trust glue. It looks like there's a little glue on there that's holding that together. I wouldn't trust that at all. I would go over it with packing tape anyway, just to reinforce it. Because you can see right here, I just pulled that lightly. I'm not super strong. I just pulled that lightly, and that seam is loose as a goose right now. And this is the bottom, whereas this is being shuffled around and tossed and dropped and kicked and thrown from, hey, go get it, Billy, go long. You know, who knows what they do behind scenes. Some people have caught videos of what they do to our packages when they're being shipped. And it's like, oh, you're kidding me. Really? What are they, that bored? But you can imagine if this takes a hard hit, as it would have traveling all the way from Nevada. I think that's probably close to 2,000 miles. Yeah, it's about 2,000 miles. If Roni is somewhere in the state close to Las Vegas, and I don't know where she is in relation to Las Vegas, but if she's somewhere near Las Vegas, we know that when I just shipped that 66K out to Mindy, that I think it was, who was it? One of our friends typed in and said it's over 1,800 miles, almost 2,000 miles out to Las Vegas. So when you have seams that are this loose, especially on the bottom, that's scary, isn't it? Imagine they get reckless with it a little bit, and all of a sudden that sewing machine just drops onto the bottom. What do? I guess you find a way to tuck it back in and maybe throw some tape on there and act like it didn't happen. But yeah, you want to have real solid seams on a cardboard box if you're going to ship it this way. And that's part of the reason I use the totes. They're molded and you don't have to worry about the seam factor. You don't have to worry about it. So, but yeah, this is a little bit concerning how loose this bottom is right here. Just using my thumb. Oh, did you hear that? That was our bottom giving out right there. There's just a little bit of tape and a little bit of glue on the inside, it looks, that are holding these seams. So yeah, be careful with our vintage sewing machines. And if you're determined to use a cardboard box or a double box method, choose a higher grade corrugated type cardboard, please. Oh goodness. So well, I was going to say no punch throughs. No punch throughs so far. A little sort of kind of over here on this edge right here. It's not going all the way through though. And with some cardboard, if it takes a hard hit, you'll see that punch through like we've seen before. When you've got a real spongy cardboard like this that's more malleable, it'll bounce back. In other words, it can take a hard hit that might cause damage to what's on the inside, but it won't show it on the outside. It's kind of like getting hit but not getting a bruise, but you know you got hit because your arm or your leg hurts. So this may have bruises all over it, but because it's a flimsier type cardboard, it's going to spring back a little bit. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't impact the sewing machine on the inside. Yeah. Okay, let me look at the chat real quick and just see who else we have that's joined us. We'll say some good mornings. I think that was Al Koss. Now that I think about it, Al is the one that gave us the distance the last time from Oconto to Nevada. So thanks again for doing that, Al. I think that was Al. Who else do we have? Good morning to Stephen as well. Stephen Armstrong. Stephen is another one of our recipients of one of Susie's cool hats. And good morning to another Susie. And Susie Tippett is not a shy girl down in Oklahoma. She's saying, tell you what, Scott, you got enough. This is Susie from Oklahoma. I'm kind of pretending like I'm her for a second. Susie from Oklahoma is saying, Scott, we saw that little reel, that little video clip you posted on Facebook. You got so many machines that you have to service. You've got enough stress in your life, Scott. Don't try to come up with a plan of giving that cup away. Just send it to me in Oklahoma, and then you can check it off of your list. You don't have to worry about it anymore. See how much of that makes sense? Susie from Oklahoma is a sweetheart and so considerate because she doesn't want me to stress about that cup. She's like, send it here. I'll take care of it for you. I got you back. I got you back. So thank you for that offer, Susie. Oh, I love all of you. You guys are so much fun. I love you guys. All right, who else do I say good morning to? Good morning to Al Koss again. I think I already said that. Good morning to Susie, our other Susie from Minnesota, part of my leadership team. Again, good morning to Candido from New York. Let's see, who else? Who else? And Stephen Armstrong is trying to multitask now. He's in the classroom. He's in the classroom, but he's also trying to do some workshop time himself on whatever model that he said. I think it was a 9000 series Singer. So good luck with that, Steve. I hope that works out for you. And if Steve gets really bored, he can always come to the workshop and I'll put him to work. I've got plenty of machines that I could put in front of him and see what he can figure out with them. Because I think everyone has the capacity under the right tutelage to become very, very gifted in repairing sewing machines. And sometimes you're self-taught as well, aren't you? Sometimes you don't have the advantage of having a mentor. Candido from New York calls me his mentor because I kind of inspire him and give him a sense of excitement about vintage sewing machines as I present them through the channel. And I'm sure there's hundreds, if not thousands, of other people that I've had a chance to also touch with that little bug of getting excited about VSM. And that's part of the goal of the classroom, is to get that connection with other people that share that same passion as we do, and to get them excited and reinvigorated again. Because we can sometimes have a setback with maybe a machine that's not doing what we want it to do, and we get a little bit discouraged. And then we get into a group like this, and we get that synergy, we get that excitement, that sense of, I can do this. And you might even sit down to that machine yourself and be able to figure something out on it, which is awesome. I've experienced that recently working with that vintage Bernina. And I'm going to be giving you, and I didn't want to confuse you by the title. I don't even remember what I put in the title, but I had something about Swiss, and then I had something about the unboxing. I wasn't telling you that we're unboxing a Bernina, if that's kind of the path or the rabbit hole that I took you down. And I apologize for that if I did. What I was implying is we're going to be getting a sneak peek of that incredibly rare Bernina Model 125. which has the unbelievable distinction of being able to say, as the Bernina 125, I was the very first portable free arm zigzag sewing machine in the world. How many machines can say that? Only one. Only one sewing machine can say, I was the first portable free arm zigzag sewing machine in the world. Only the Bernina Model 125. And as some of you know from talking with me, texting with me, and then also the reels that I posted on Facebook, Swiss sewing machines are a new level of a challenge to someone that's sitting down and trying to get them back to greatness and trying to get them sewing at a certain level. They are a very, very complex machine, even more so than the Swedish sewing machines. And even I, with all of my experience, I reached a couple of challenge points with that machine where I just had to take a deep breath, walk away for a little bit, and then come back to that machine again with a new perspective, a clearer head. And then I was able to mitigate all of the issues with that machine and get it back on track where it needed to be. So I will be decidedly be presenting that machine Tuesday morning. But you, because you're here at this live stream today, you're going to have a little pre-glimpse of it as we sit down to it just briefly, stitch down a little bit of denim. You can hear the machine run. You can see how that knee controller works, which is really kind of a cool feature. And Teresa, the one that's going to be getting this machine, let me get back into the shot over here. Teresa, the one that's going to be getting this machine, grew up on a machine that was knee controlled and has not had the benefit of that with her other sewing machines. And so she's incredibly excited. I sent her a text this morning telling her that the machine would be live streamed on Tuesday and then she could pick it up afterwards. And she was more giddy than a schoolgirl or a schoolboy for that matter. She's just so stoked, so excited to be able to get a machine into her midst again, especially a Bernina, because that's one of the few machines that she couldn't get her mitts on. And check the internet. Check the internet if you doubt what I'm saying. Bernina 125s, they are the unicorn of the Bernina sewing machines. You can't find them. They don't exist. And if they exist, they're going to be right around $1,200 to $1,400. And I mean, that's the kind of machine we're talking about. They're really, really hard to come by. But we're going to get a pre-glimpse of that after I give you some clues on our primary mission of this live stream, and that is to find out what was sent from Nevada. What did we get from Nevada? We're sending a machine. It's almost like a trade-off, isn't it? We're sending one machine out to Nevada so that Elvis and Mindy can sit down to it and have fun with that 66K from 1935. And at the same time, there's another machine. I wonder if they waved at each other. Do you wonder if they waved at each other as the one is like heading out to Nevada, the other one is heading towards Oconto, and they're like right there? You know, did they give a quick little, or did the 66K, did it kind of puff up a little bit and say, I've already gotten my dose of workshop magic. Hope he doesn't run out. Hope he doesn't run out. You know what? Because 66Ks being from the UK, they can be a little bit brassy sometimes. They just can. They can be a little bit brassy. Yeah. No offense to my UK friends. All right. Oh, guten Tag zu Tadal. Guten Tag, wie geht's? Schönes Wochenende. Schönes Wochenende, Tadal. Oh, good morning to Christine from Canada as well. Good morning to Christine from Canada. And I hopefully didn't miss anybody else. I think I caught everybody else earlier in the live stream when I went around and said hello to everybody. So a couple of clues on our box right here. And then we'll get a pre-glimpse of this Swiss sewing machine that is going to be live streamed in full on Tuesday morning. So a couple of clues for you. Clues. Okay. And I want to look at, I wrote down some notes. So I want to come up with some fun stuff to make it a little bit more challenging for you. Okay, here's your beginning clues. Take note of these clues, please. Take note of these clues so that you can zero in on what we're going to be unboxing here. And I hope that you remember that one instance I gave you all these clues, and then we get into the box and the owner had sent something totally different. And I was like, well, I guess that didn't work out. I hope that doesn't happen today. I hope that doesn't happen today. And again, if Ronnie from Nevada, where this machine came from, joins us, Ronnie, don't tell him what this make and model is. We're going to keep it a secret and build a little bit of suspense. And then we'll eventually discover what treasure you sent to us here. And if anyone wants to do some special credit for the class and look up the distance that this machine traveled versus the one that we just sent back out to Las Vegas to Mindy, the 66K, look up the city for me if you would. Look up the city in Nevada, and then we'll go ahead and figure out how many miles this traveled to come here and how many miles it's going to travel heading back eventually. So this came from the city of Winnemucca. I'm not making that up. I hope I'm saying it right. If someone wants to type the spelling of it in the live chat, I would be grateful. It's spelled W-I-N-N-E, E like Edward, M-U-C-C-A. That's really a unique name, a city name, isn't it? W-I-N-N-E-M-U-C-C-A. I would pronounce it Winnemucca, but maybe I'm totally screwing it up and I'm going to get some nasty notes or calls from people out in Nevada saying, what are you, like on Minute Maid? You can't even pronounce the name of our city? That's what it looks like to me, is Winnemucca. I don't know, it makes me think of mocha. I all of a sudden feel compelled to want to drink coffee right about now. I really do. Winnemucca. Never heard of that. Everyone has heard of Las Vegas, but how many people have heard about Winnemucca? I'll give up on it for right now. Okay, so here's some of your clues on what we're going to be unboxing from the great state of Nevada and the great city of Winnemucca. And again, forgive me, Ronnie, and others out there if I'm getting it totally wrong. Okay, so looking at my notes. Okay, I got something. Okay, this machine class that's in the box was first produced around 1934 in the United Kingdom. It later was introduced in 1935 and was produced around until around 1964. It's a rotary operated machine. There were later models in the same class that went from being belt driven to being gear driven. What else can I give you without giving the farm away here? I think that's enough. Those are enough clues to start with. I think those are some good clues to start with, at least, to give you something to chew on as we're looking at this box that originally housed Quaker oats, apparently, Quaker cereal at least. And now we're going to move to the other workbench that way, and we're going to get a pre-glimpse of this Model 125, which I would call the Bernina's unicorn of unicorns. $1,884 miles. Yeah, it's a Quaker sewing machine. Why wouldn't it be? Exactly. Candido or Tadal said that when we get this open, all we have to do when we open this up, according to our friend Tadal from Deutschland, from Germany, she said all we have to do is add milk to it, and it'll be ready to eat. You not only can sew with this, but you can also eat as well. I hope there's a spoon inside. Otherwise, I've got to go find a spoon if, in fact, it's like a Quaker cereal sewing machine. Wouldn't that be something? an eatable, edible sewing machine, what a great company to make sure that people are going to come back and buy another one. You know what I mean? You sew a couple of projects and then you eat the machine, gone. You go back to them again. Hey, I need another machine. What flavor do you want this time? Let's go with blueberry. Let's go blueberry. Why not? I mean, blueberry cereal, it's pretty popular. It really is. Oh, Christine is saying it's over 2,100 miles. No, Christine is saying 2,100 plus miles, the distance from you to Oconto or from you to Winnemucca, Nevada. I can't even get the name right when I'm looking at it. Winnemucca. Oh, one of you should call in right now and be really incredibly brave. If someone's watching from Nevada right now and you know how to pronounce this city name, you should call me right now and I'll put you on speaker. I won't show your number and you could pronounce it correctly because the closest I'm getting is Winnemucca, Win a zebra. I have no idea. Win a something. We're winning stuff. We're Winnemucking. Anyway, I better ring the bell. Because I'm just lost. Yeah. But there are interesting and difficult to pronounce city names, aren't there? Even in Wisconsin around here. There's cities like Kaukauna that when you look at it spelled out, you're like, that doesn't even look like what it sounds like. Or there's Winneconne, I think. There's Winneconne, Wisconsin. There's all kinds of weird names in Wisconsin, too. So it's not limited to Nevada. It's not just in Nevada that they have unique city names that are hard to pronounce. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Holy mackerel. This is Christine from Canada. Hold on a second. Let me put you on speaker. All right, Christine, you're live. Go ahead, kiddo.
Hey, Scott. How you doing? Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Christine from Canada. It's pronounced Winnemucca.
Winnemucca.
Yes. I used to fuel there lots of times when I was driving transport.
Winnemucca. Now we know. Wow, we know. Yes. And see, someone from Canada had to call and tell us how to pronounce a city in the United States. But you know what? You don't know this about Christine. She used to drive truck and she was all over the U.S. Isn't that right, dear?
Yes, it is. I drove many miles. I always tell people I've probably backed up more than people have driven forward.
So Winnemucca.
Yes.
Okay, y'all help me. If I get it wrong during the live stream, call me back or text me and say, Scott, you're saying it wrong again. But God bless Christine for giving us the correct pronunciation of Winnemucca. I might just write that on the box so I don't forget. But thank you for the call, dear.
You're welcome. Have a great day. And I'll still be lurking around in the live.
Yay, cool. See ya.
Okay, bye.
Winnemucca. I was giving it mucka, like mocha. Winnemucca, like muck. Muck is, yeah, I wonder if they get teased about that out in Nevada. Winnemucca, like a mucky city. You know what I mean? Mucka is not really any rate. Let's just go with Christine and just call it Winnemucca. And it's probably a beautiful place. I know nothing about Winnemucca. If anyone wants to do some quick Googling and tell us more about Winnemucca, Nevada, that would be awesome because that's where Roni lives and that's where this machine was shipped from. But for right now, forget about this box for a second. And let's go over to the other workbench and see if I can stitch off a line or two on this 1943 Bernina Model 125, the very first portable free arm zigzag sewing machine in the world. The very first. Let's check it out. Yeah, I was in the workshop till probably about 11 something last night working on this machine. This machine gave me a big challenge and it said, "You will not conquer us, Scott. We do not want your workshop magic. We do not want your workshop magic." Hopefully y'all can hear me because I got the microphone all the way over there. Let me go ahead and move my box for a second so you can hear me better. All right, I'm going to move my box down that I have the camera sitting on. Move the microphone just a little bit, so hopefully you can hear me better. Winnemucca, Winnemucca. I'm going to say it 1,000 times, and if I get it wrong, any of you that are former teachers or just inspired to be teaching, you can make me write it on the blackboard 1,000 times if I get Winnemucca wrong, because Christine went to the effort of calling us from Canada and saying, this is how it's said. I used to make deliveries there when I was a professional commercial driver. And so I got no excuse. I got no excuse at all. So anyway, a quick walk around this clever little machine that came on the scene around 1943. And I think you saw in one of the reels, I introduced our Swiss Miss over here. She represents all of these Swiss sewing machines, and she is gorgeous, I think. She's about as pretty as a new penny, I think. And she doesn't have a name, so if anybody wants to take a swing at giving our Swiss Miss a name, that would be awesome. But again, Switzerland came on the scene very, very late. They came on the scene very late when it comes to sewing machines. Let me shut this light off, get kind of a blur. They came on the scene really late with sewing machines. Their founder established a hem stitching machine in the 1800s, but they weren't named and they weren't officially a Bernina company until almost the mid 1930s. And about 10 years later, after goofing around with some other machines, around 1943, they came out with this Model 125, and they had every reason to be proud, because it was the very first portable free arm zigzag sewing machine in the world. And I'll just give you a quick walk around. I'll do a little bit more of this on Tuesday, but kind of starting on the front of the machine over here, we've got feed dog drop right there. You just turn it to the left if you want the feed dogs to go down. Turn it to the right if you want the feed dogs to pop back up again. We've got right here 2 controls built into one. We've got reverse when it goes to the top, and we also have stitch length. And the cool thing about this model from the early 1940s is it can not only sew in reverse, but it can also regulate stitch length in reverse as well. In other words, you don't have to go with a default stitch length when you flip it into reverse like a lot of sewing machines. You can choose what length you want those stitches to be going forward and also going in reverse as you push it all the way up, anywhere from 1 to 4. 1 to 4. Kind of move my hand out of the way. Yeah. Right here, we've got stitch width. Very, very easy to use. Right on 0, we're going to be sewing a straight stitch. If I turn it all the way over to here, we're going to be on 4, and we're going to get the widest zigzag that we can get, which was a pretty big deal considering it was the first portable free arm zigzag sewing machine in the world. They gave us a pretty good range. More of a range, actually, as I was experimenting with this machine after I got done with it, they give us more of a range in the stitch width than they actually do in the stitch length. You'll be surprised to see that this does not generate as big of a stitch as a lot of our contemporary and a lot of our vintage sewing machines would. It's a little bit more restrictive, and you'll see more of that on Tuesday when we actually sew with it a little bit more. And then we get a little glimpse into the engineering, kind of like a Swiss watch, as you get a chance to look inside of the machine at some of the engineering. And I showed you this on a reel on Facebook. Very, very well-built machines, combination of forged steel, but also along with forged steel, we've got aluminum. So this machine is incredibly lightweight and really can boast of that portability factor. What else can I show you along here? You kind of see how you attach this extension bed. It's got this little lever that you kind of rotate like this, and then it presses into the bottom of the free arm to hold us in place when we're using it. The faceplate does open, which is nice. We can get in there. We can do a little bit of maintenance. The only challenge with this machine is setting pressure foot pressure is nearly impossible. It's got a preset, and you have to kind of roll with that. So I see that as a little bit of a deficit on this model 125. And if you look at the faceplate, the contour of it, you're going to see that it mimics the look of a lot of the Japanese clone machines, including the Elgin 2468 that I've shown a couple of times on this channel. They give it kind of a curvaceous little look on the front of the faceplate. And here you can kind of look into the portal there at the lights kind of shining through as you have that light operating. On some of the Japanese ones, instead of having this little opening here, which I think is a real good idea to let some of that heat escape from that incandescent bulb. But a lot of the Japanese ones have that really funky little red light. It's really like a little red lens that the light shines through, and it kind of gives that little red glow, kind of like a, hey, we're open, come on in, we've held a room for you type of a thing. So that's kind of neat too. But that's really the basic lay of the land on this Bernina Model 125. It's not a real difficult, challenging machine to operate. It's a nightmare to try to service and adjust and optimize it. Let me tell you, this machine pushed me to my limits, but I got through it finally, which is a good thing. So let's actually do just a brief amount of stitching on it. I'm going to see if I can stretch the camera just a little bit more. Let's see. I hope I don't disconnect this. I'm going to shut off our light too, because it's creating a little bit of a glare. Shut off our light, and nothing fancy dancy here. Just 2 layers of standard denim. We'll just kind of buzz down. And since this machine really received its notoriety, being the first zigzag portable free arm machine in the world, I should probably do the very first sew off that I show you by removing this bed so that you can see the free arm. I've got to back this camera up just a little bit more. See if I can give myself a little bit more cord, hopefully. If you're tilting, it's okay. You're not going to fall over, I don't think. You might fall over. Let me see. There we go. That's a little bit more stable. So I'm going to rotate that little lever, and we should be able to remove this straight away. You can see how that kind of works on the bottom there. When you rotate this, it presses into the bottom of the free arm. Actually, this side kind of presses into the bottom of the free arm, and that's what kind of holds it in place. All right, let me set that to the side. So now I can demonstrate it as the first portable zigzag free arm sewing machine in the world, because now we can actually see that free arm, which is good. All right, let me move this back over there. This cord for the camera is kind of in the way of the knee controller, but I'll do my best. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust over here our stitch width. Right now we're on 0. I'm going to take it all the way over to its widest setting on 4. If you can see that in the shot, hopefully. My laptop's a little bit out of view, so I'm hoping it's focused on that. And then our stitch length, right now we're sewing forward. Again, reverse is going to be to the top. Right now I've got it at the longest setting for the zigzag that we're going to be doing. Again, they focused a lot more in designing this machine to give us a little bit more versatility in the width of the stitch versus the length of the stitch. It's a little stubby, and that's just by design. So let's see if I can do this. I'm going to keep the cord there, angle this down. That way you can kind of see this knee controller too that I'm going to be pressing with my leg. I'll leave the light off on the machine so we can see things a little bit more clearly. Get that in place. All right. Let's buzz down this and see what we think. All right, here we go. Oh, that's interesting. That I didn't plan that. This does not have a place for a screwdriver on this presser foot, and it just kind of came loose on me. I better double check that one. All right. She's really tight now. There we go. Couple more things I'll check on this before I present it on Tuesday. Apparently my presser foot was not tight enough. All right, let's take a look at this stitching real quick. Give that a clip, give that a clip. Like I said, I was working on this till around 11 o'clock last night, 11 p.m. Central Time. So if you're on the East Coast, I was out here until almost midnight working on this. I'll see if I can give you, hopefully, a view of this. Beautiful zigzag going down. I'll get nice and close to it. Turn it over, look at that lock stitch as well. Beautiful lock stitch. That's our lock stitch. And again, it's a fairly light sew off, I guess. 2 layers, but it's heavy duty denim that we just went through. So there's our lock stitch. And you'll see more of this machine on Tuesday morning. And the presser foot will be tighter by then, hopefully. Hopefully the presser foot will be tighter by then. Hold on a second. I just got a text. If someone's saying they can't hear me, that's because the microphone is across the workshop floor. So let's see what the comment is or question. Oh, it's just a friend. Just a friend from Illinois saying, hey, good morning. Good morning. So good morning to Roberta from Illinois. Good morning to Roberta from Illinois. So it's a neat little machine. It's very lightweight. It's very portable. And we'll see this machine doing additional sew-offs on Tuesday morning. So make it a point to join us on Tuesday morning so you can see this Bernino 125. It's the very first time I presented this machine because I've never had one before. In all of the machines that I work with, I've never, ever had a Bernino 125 before. So this will be fun to upload to the channel as a video after the live stream. And then folks that somehow stumble across one of these will have a chance to learn more about the machine, including its hidden bobbin winding assembly, which is very consistent with what we would see on Swedish Beauties. And by that, I mean, this is our bobbin winder right here. And like the Swedish Beauties, a lot of the Swedish Beauties, on this one, when you want to disengage the clutch so you can wind a bobbin, all you do is pull this assembly out like this. And now there's not going to be any locomotion of the needle. If we engage the machine, it's just going to spin that bobbin winder. So the obvious question with this design, the way it is, pulling it out on the bobbin winding assembly like the Swedish Beauties, did the Swiss copy the Swedes or did the Swedish folks copy the Swiss? There's an interesting question for us to explore. What came first, the Swedes or the Swiss in this unique design? Yeah, we'll find out more about that on Tuesday. Yeah, on Tuesday. So let's go back over to the workbench now. And I don't know if anyone has ventured any guesses yet as to what we are going to be unboxing. But if you didn't, go ahead and throw your guesses again into the live chat if you would. And we'll say goodbye to our Swiss Miss. I'm not sure. I didn't look at the live chat. I don't know if anyone gave her a name or not. Trying to get her in the shot with the machine here. Go that way. There you go. There you go. But yeah, this is a real lightweight. And as you look at this machine, it really has the feeling. It has the feeling of a 3/4 size machine. It's not a full-blown machine. It's 3/4 size, so it's very compact and it's very light because it has an aluminum chassis. It has an aluminum chassis to it. The other thing I'll mention, and I'll say this again on Tuesday real quick. The other thing I'll mention is, well, let me ask it in the form of a question, because we may not have the same folks there on Tuesday morning that we do now, do you think that this is a rotary hook, a long beak shuttle, or do you think it's an oscillating hook system? I'll try to get real close. Is it a rotary hook system? Is it a long beak shuttle? Or is it an oscillating hook system on this machine? And the second part of that question is, as we're looking at that bobbin case, what kind of bobbin do you think this machine takes? What kind of bobbin do you think that this Model 125 from 1943 takes? We'll take a better look at this maybe on Tuesday. But a couple of things to kind of think about and chew on as we see a full-blown live stream on this Bernina this Tuesday morning. So be there or be square, 9:30, like usual, 9:30 Central, and we'll see this machine do some more sewing. Okay, got to put my microphone back up over here, over there, and this is what I'm using to elevate the camera. Using this to elevate the camera. It's actually the cover. This is solid. It's all wood. It probably weighs almost 10 pounds. This is a special cover to go over the base for a 401A. Isn't that a beautiful badge mark? But this is what I use to put the camera on so I can get better elevation when we're doing the unboxings. Yeah. All right, I'll look at the chat real quick and then we'll launch into this unboxing finally. And I appreciate everybody's patience. Oh, you know what else I forgot to do? Goodness, wow, look at me. You tell I was working late last night. I was working very, very late last night. So, hold on a second. You can't even see our girl here. Yeah, there we go. Now we're officially open. So I've been working off the clock. I'm not going to get paid. I'm not going to get paid for all the stuff I've already done in this live stream. That's just not even, that's my fault. So now we're officially open. I'll put this back over here again. And I don't know if we have any of our folks that submitted reviews on Cow Country. If we have any of the folks that were involved with submitting reviews since the last live stream, it would have been Sheila Kilgore, and let's see here. Sheila Kilgore and Jenny Folsom. Sheila Kilgore and Jenny Folsom. I'll look at the live chat to see if I see either one of those ladies, because they were the two that submitted reviews because they wanted to try to win these Guggenheim professional tailoring 9-inch scissors. And so they ended up submitting reviews since the last live stream we did. I said, you can do it anytime from the last live stream until this morning. And I only got 2 reviews, one from Sheila, one from Jenny. And what I talked about doing is maybe I'll extend it a little bit more to see if someone else wants to write a review. And if Susie or Christine or any of the moderators would be so kind as to put that link like you did at the last live stream, put that link in the live stream as to where you have to go to submit a review. If you're willing to submit a review, then we'll extend this until Tuesday morning when I show that Bernina 125. And then out of all of the reviews that have been submitted, we'll go ahead and vote on the one that we like best. And that person will get these Guggenheim shears. And during the live stream, I'll just show you these again real quick. I've got 3 packs of these Schmetz double-eye needles. And if anyone, let me change screens real quick. I can't even see the camera. If anyone wants to send me a text with why you love vintage sewing machines and cow country specifically. If you want to send me a text, we'll give 2 of these away today. We only had one person that sent a text at the last live stream, and they got one of these packs. I believe it was, oh gosh, I've got Saturday brain. Hold on a second. It wasn't Sheila, I know that. It was Jenny, I think. Yeah, it was Jenny. Jenny at the last live stream sent me a text basically explaining why she loved vintage sewing machines, blah, 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 and also cow country. And so I'm mailing a pack of these double I Schmetz needles. It's a size 80-12. But I'm going to be giving 2 more of these away, and then I'll give the last pack away on Tuesday morning when we live stream the Bernina 125. I'll give another pack away then. So if anyone wants to comprise some sort of a fun thing that I can read during the live stream, talk about why you love VSM, and if you've already won a pack of these needles like Jenny, then don't send me another text, because you can't win 2 of these, unfortunately. But if you want to text something to me and or call it, if you want to call, then you might even get some additional bonus by calling. But give me a text, why you love VSM, why you love cow country, or why you love being part of the cow country family, however you want to phrase that. And for the first 2 people that do that during this live stream, I'll give you each a pack of these double I needles. And then this last double I pack we'll give away on Tuesday morning. Okay? All of that blah, blah, blah. So now I'll look at the live chat, and then we'll officially move towards unboxing this machine from, I'm going to try it. I hope I don't get it wrong, or Christine's going to call me back. This machine that was shipped from Winnemucca. I hope I got that right. Winnemucca. No, that's wrong. Winnemucca. That's what Christine said. Because I was thinking mucky, muck. Yeah, Winnemucca. Now I got it right. I think I got it right. I might have gotten it right. Winnemucca. Yeah. I should just say Nevada. This machine is from Nevada, from a city that is unnamed by me because I don't pronounce it right all the time. Nope, not even close. All right. Winnemucca. Yeah, okay. Got it. I think I got it that time. All right. Yes. Okay. Let's look at the live chat real quick. Winnemucca. Yeah. I'll tell you what, someone wants to put together a rap song that we can play during one of the live streams of you like doing rap and incorporating the word Winnemucca. Yeah, if you can do a rap song with Winnemucca in it, if you could do a rap song with Winnemucca in it, that's where this cup that I showed you before, that's where this cup is going to go to the first person that puts together a fun rap song. Let's say before Tuesday, if you want to send me like an audio clip of you doing a rap song with the city name Winnemucca, like Winnemucca, Winnemug, Winnemucca, Winnemug, Winnemucca, Winnemug, Winnemucca, Winnemug. Yeah, something like that. You want to come up with a fun little rap song. It has to last at least 10 seconds. At least 10 seconds, okay? Come up with a fun rap song, and maybe our friend from Oklahoma can do that. They can rap down in Oklahoma as well as they can anywhere else. Hello? You come up with a fun rap song incorporating the word Winnemucca. You can win a mug, a Winnemugga. You can, if you do Winnemucca, you can win a mugga. I got no idea what I'm talking about. But at any rate, if you want to have some fun and do that, go ahead and do that. And that's how we'll give away this mug, is to someone that puts together a rap song, has to last at least 10 seconds and incorporate the word Winnemucca, Nevada. You don't have to say Nevada. If you want to do that, that's cool. All right, that was fun. Yes, Winnemucca! Ha ha! I love it. All right, who else can we say good morning to? What do we have going on in the live chat? Winnemucca. Winnemucca, Winnemucca, Winnemucca. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, that's not even a rap song, Scott. I see you, Dr. Singer. Dr. Singer is shaking his finger at me right now. I didn't know he could even do that. Let's hear you do a rap song, Dr. Singer, if you think you're that good, you think you're that talented at incorporating the word Winnemucca. Winnemucca. Yeah, baby. All right, who else do we have? Oh, good morning to Becky. I know I didn't say hello to Becky yet. I'm going to totally lose my voice. Totally lose my voice. All right, I'm scrolling all the way up. I've said hello to Susie from Minnesota. I've said hello to Candido from New York. I've said hello to Stephen Armstrong. I've said hello to Susie Tippett from Oklahoma, who really is going to put together a super cool rap song so she can grab hold of that mug and take it to Oklahoma. Come on, Susie, get your rapping juice going. Get your rapping juice going so you can win that mug, girl. Come on. Yes. Good morning to Al Koss. Good morning to, I already said hello to Candido. Good morning to, who else do we have? Who else? Good morning to Christine from Canada. All of you have heard Christine's voice now. So now when you see her name, you can remember her voice and go, oh, she's such a nice gal up in Canada, up in maple syrup country. Maple syrup. Who doesn't love maple syrup? I love it. What else? Good morning. I should say Guten Tag. Guten Tag, wie geht's to Tadal from Germany, from Deutschland. Who else? Come on, I got other names. Where are they? Good morning to Becky. Good morning to Becky. What else do we got? That's it. Ha ha! I made it to the end of the list. All right. So let me revisit the clues. On this machine that we're going to finally be unboxing now. We're finally going to be unboxing it. All right, some more clues on our Quaker cereal boxed machine, which according to Tadal from Germany, she said this could actually become a breakfast sewing machine, like Quaker Oats sewing machine. It's going to smell like Quaker Oats. It's going to, if you lick the machine, which I don't recommend, but if you lick the machine, it's going to taste like Quaker Oats, and it's going to be low calorie, maybe. No guarantees there. So I got a text. Who do I have a text from? I think this is my friend from, it's my friend from Illinois again. She is texting up a storm here. Texting up a storm. All right. Almost there. Hold on a second, folks. I was scrolling up, so I keep mentioning because Roberta from Illinois, really a nice gal. She's not a sewist, but she really admires vintage things. And I think she's originally from Italy, if I remember correctly. You saw recently I posted a picture of Sophia Loren on Facebook, and a lot of people didn't know. They were fans of Sophia Loren. Maybe they watched different movies where she and Cary Grant were in movies together, but they never knew that Sophia Loren, a lot of people didn't know that she was the face of Necky sewing machines when Necky was trying to bring them into the US. And the story on that, real briefly, is Necky was facing some of the same challenges that Japan had created by underselling people in the US, importing all of their Japanese machines post World War II, and putting a lot of American sewing machine companies out of business because their Japanese clone machines were very well built and they were a lot cheaper than the American counterparts. And so a lot of the Americans were still really, really nervous about a foreign country importing anything into our country post World War II. And especially the sewing related people were really nervous about companies sending sewing machines to our country. And so they recruited Sophia Loren. If you don't know who she is, you can Google her. Beautiful gal. Even now, she's still a beautiful gal living in Italy. They recruited Sophia Loren. Everyone loved her already from the stuff she did on the big screen with great actors like Cary Grant and others. And so right away they embraced Necky sewing machines because they had the official endorsement of Sophia Loren. And my friend, being from Italy originally, this is not how she looks now, but she has some of the characteristics. Italian women have those darker olive type features that I think are just really pretty. And that's my friend from Illinois, if the camera focuses on her eventually. It's having trouble focusing. So now I've embarrassed Roberta potentially by showing her picture. But she posts stuff like that on Facebook already, so it's not a big deal. Any rate, let's revisit the clues real quick on this machine that we're going to be unboxing. We're going to be unboxing this machine, and I'll revisit some of those clues. So this machine maker and model, blah, 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 was first introduced in the particular class that this machine is associated with around 1934 in the UK. And later it was introduced in the US around 1935 and was produced, depending on which source you believe, it was produced from 1935 in the US until around the 1960s. Some sources say 1961. Some push it out as far as 1964. And again, like I said earlier, it's a rotary hook machine. It is not like our Bernina Model 125. It's the Bernina 125 has a different hook system than this machine does. I'll just leave it like that. I'll leave it a little bit gray so we can discover more things on Tuesday. And like I said, this started out as a treadle / belt driven version, and then later became a gear driven type machine. What else can I tell you? I'll give you one more clue. And then I'll look at the chat to see if anyone's zeroing in on it. I'll give you one more clue. I associate another machine with this machine sometimes. And the other machine that I associate with this machine was introduced before this machine and is in the 3/4 size instead of the full size machine class version. That's totally confusing, I know, but I've given you all I can give you. Oh, I also told you, I think, that this machine class series for this machine in the box was in production for 26 years. It was in production in one form or one version or another for a total of 26 years, so almost 3 decades. And I'll give you one more clue. The counterpart of this machine, where I sometimes associate these machines together, and the other machine that's not in the box is a 3/4 size machine and was produced from 1932 until 1956. That's a lot of clues. That's a lot of good clues. Hopefully you can zero in on it as to what we're going to be unboxing that came from Winnemucca, Nevada. Did you hear that, Christine? I nailed it the first time. Winnemucca, Nevada. It'll probably never happen again. But you know what? In that one instance, I nailed it on the spot. Winnemucca, 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 Winnemucca. Yeah, okay. I think I finally have it now. Yes. Ha-ha. Better grab some water real quick. I'm losing my voice. And no, I don't have a Diet Coke today. Water. Okay. So let's begin opening this thing up. Again, I'm a little bit nervous because the corrugation on this box is really, really low on the scale. But Roni said it's double boxed. So let's see what we see. So I'm feeling the machine, or I'm feeling something on this side. I'm going to open this kind of carefully. We'll set the blade really, really low so I don't cut too deep. Yeah, this is a real... Nothing against Quaker Oats or Quaker cereal, but they don't use really good boxes. It's kind of like the toilet paper people. Yeah, that's real flimsy. I'll just cut this little edge off and show you how flimsy it is. Hold on a second. So this is an example of the corrugation right here. I'll just show you up close. So again, no knock to Roni. I'm not trying to beat Roni up. I'm trying to educate us in our classroom on, if you're wanting to ship with a cardboard box, really take a second look and a third look at the quality of the corrugation. It shouldn't be flimsy like this. It should be rigid and it should be enduring. This is, yeah. Hopefully the cereal that came in this box originally reached its destination safely. I hope it did, because it's really a poor corrugation. Really poor. All right. Let's see here. Winnemucca. All of us are going to be dreaming about Winnemucca. Ironing pad. Does anyone have an ironing pad like this? I don't know if Roni had one of these, or just this material just kind of came along with it. So we've got a little bit of foam padding on top. It's kind of creates a little bit of an extra barrier, which is always good. And I'm looking, and I see some of this has her address on it, so I've got to black this out real quick. Other than I won't black out Winnemucca. I'm not going to do that. Let's see here. Okay, that's the only place I saw her address over there. So it's kind of chilly here today. Kind of chilly. Turn up that heater just a little bit. So there's our second box we can see right there. What I'll do, I think, to make it easier is I'll cut down the side of the Quaker cereal box, and I'll just take this inside box out. And like I said, I hope this is a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more rigid as far as the corrugation, so that we know that it had a little bit more of a protection factor for that machine. And remember, with something like this where the corrugation is a lot lighter, this could have taken a big hit along that almost 2,000-mile journey. It could have taken a real big hit, but it's not going to be evident. We're not going to see it on the outside, but that shock wave went all the way through this box, all the way to the machine. And so the outside can look fine. But once I get into this machine officially and start digging into it, I may find that because the box was not as solid as it could have been. I think that's a fair and an accurate and a kind way to say it, because the box wasn't as solid as it could have been. The machine could have sustained damage in that 2,000-mile journey, and it may not be readily apparent until we get into the machine itself. All right, so let me cut down this edge, see if we can open up the front of this box, and we'll take out the other box that's on the inside. And I did look down the side so I could tell that I wasn't cutting too deep. There's the other box right there on the inside. And I don't smell cereal yet. Just so you know, Tadal, I do not smell cereal yet, but I do have milk available if we find that we have to pour milk on here if it is cereal. So we'll find out soon enough. So a little bit of styrofoam on the. I'm assuming that this was kind of like originally. This was kind of like this on the side when Roni packed it, but because it's not taped to the box, it just kind of dropped down. So again, whenever you're using materials, anchor them where you want them to be anchored so that they don't potentially come loose or shift around in the shipping process, because one only knows how many hands touch this box and how it got jostled around over those almost 2,000 miles. That's a long journey. You imagine if you were traveling in a box for 2,000 miles, the sounds you would hear, the banging, the dropping, and all the things that would happen to you inside of the box. Let me look at the live chat real quick, see if anybody was guessing models. Vickers sewing machine. I have no idea what that's about. Wahoo. Oops, what did I do? Clicking the wrong things. And Susie from Oklahoma is saying, what about a 201? But earlier, before saying, what about a 201, Susie said, what about a Husqvarna? Could it be a Husqvarna in here? Could it be a Husqvarna? Could it be a 201? Could it be, I don't know, could it be an Adler machine from Germany, from Deutschland? Al said the kids came running when they heard me singing. I just read that. That's hilarious. So it's a good thing the kids came running in instead of running away. I guess that's a good sign that I might have some possible singing voice, just in case the kids are still there. Yeah, I should sing like a little fun song or something like that. Maybe like a kid's song, like London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down. La, 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 la. Something like that. Yeah, you never know. All right, I scrolled up and Al, I think Al's comment about oscillating hook and Al Koss can clarify. I just scrolled up a little bit. Is the oscillating hook in relation to the Bernina 125? Because I don't think it's relating to this one. I said that this has a rotary hook, this one in here. So if Al was saying oscillating hook on the Bernina 125, that would be correct. That is correct. All right, what else we got? What else we got? Maybe a Minnesota. Yeah, so our guesses so far, and there may be additional guesses that I missed, and I'm sorry if I missed your guess, but Al Koss was saying maybe it's a Minnesota machine that would have been originally produced through Sears and Roebuck, right? Yeah, maybe it is. Minnesota Sewing Machine started actually as a jewelry company making watches, is kind of how that company started over there in the state with 10,000 lakes, maybe 10,001 lakes now. But here's the deal. I don't think Minnesota has a Winnemucca. I don't think Minnesota has a Winnemucca city. I don't think they do, but they probably have a lot of other ones that kind of have almost a Native American sound, don't they? Doesn't Winnemucca kind of sound like it might be Native American, maybe? I don't know. Maybe. Possibly. Yeah, it might be from that neck of the woods. All right. I don't see if there were any other guesses. First boxes to come apart. Yeah. Vickers sewing machine. That's an interesting guess too, isn't it? So our guesses so far is a Vickers sewing machine, maybe a Minnesota that would have been distributed heavily through Sears and Roebuck, maybe a Swedish Beauty, I think is what our friend from Oklahoma came up with. Also, our friend from Oklahoma said, what about a 201? So we'll see, right? We'll see soon enough. All right, let me see if I can get this box out of the box. Now, let me have you. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it on the microphone, but I'm going to be really quiet, which is really impossible for me. You know what? Let me move this out of the way so you can see the box better, and then I'll wiggle it and show you what I was wanting to point out. So here's our inside, and this would have originally been this box that was designed for cereal would have originally had an opening down here on the bottom, and it looks like Roni put this piece of cardboard. Yep, that's it. There's the carpeting right there on the workbench. So she put this little piece of carpeting, She put this little piece of cardboard to cover that opening on the bottom. And it kind of came loose a little bit, didn't it? That's the thing about tape, is tape just doesn't stick when we want it to stick sometimes, does it? So, again, not the ideal box, but it made it here. It made it here. We just hope, we just hope that the machine is okay, don't we? We just hope the machine is okay. See if we can see the boys through that. Hold on a second. Hey, guys. What's up? What's up? Yeah. What's up? Hey, what's going on? Yes, I know I can't see you, Dr. Singer, because you're behind the open sign. You're behind the open sign there, guy. All right, I've had enough fun with that box. Let's get this box out of the way. Let's get this box out of the way from Winnemucca. It's a Winnemucca box. Yes, okay. That's out of the way now. Now we're going to get the other Winnemucca box up here. And what I was going to show you is, and this is probably a little bit more sturdy, but not really. It's kind of a low-grade cardboard box. So again, I would just strongly encourage you, if you're wanting to ship in cardboard, not a problem. Go to Home Depot. Go to Home Depot, or go to some other retailer that sells some really, really sturdy, well-corrugated cardboard boxes, and make that little bit of an additional investment It's always good to reuse things, which is probably what Roni did. That's well and good, but not necessarily if you're shipping almost 2,000 miles with a vintage sewing machine. I would say use this for storing blankets or something like that, and or whatever, and invest a little bit more. Now, the other thing I'm going to show you is I'm moving this. Let's see if I can demonstrate. Can you hear that? I hope I don't knock anything off. Listen real carefully. That's the machine inside of here going like this, back and forth. So it's fair to say over 2,000 miles in its travel from Winnemucca, Nevada to Oconto, Wisconsin, it was doing that the whole way, back and forth, maybe up and down. I have no idea. It's heavy enough. It's heavy enough. I can't feel upward mobility, but from side to side, movement when it comes to shipping anything, sewing machine, anything fragile, anything delicate, movement is very, very dangerous, because when something is moving, it has the opportunity to get damaged. It has the opportunity to hit those outer walls as a hard impact comes through against it. So try to, as best as you can, whether you use my approach with totes or whether you use cardboard or whether you use, we've even gotten crates where machines have been crated coming to the workshop. Whatever method you use, immobilize that vintage sewing machine inside of that container so that it doesn't have any mobility. You basically want to restrict any mobility so that it's what's the fancy word? Inert. It's inert. It can't move. And that way you reduce the likelihood of damage dramatically. Okay? All right, enough blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the leaders are having a little bit of a playful engagement here, Christine and Susie. I don't know what they're doing, but it's kind of fun. I love the way you guys interact with each other in these live streams. It's awesome. Okay, so let's cut into this next box. Trying to feel how much room I have. I've got no room right here. Right here, as I push on this, there's something right underneath there. So I've got to cut through very, very carefully. I'll just kind of go down the middle. I'll make the blade even a little bit shorter. We'll cut down through here. Okay. Well, you know what? I've got to give Roni. I've been giving some honest feedback about the quality of the boxes, but you know what? Roni pays attention, and she did watch the packing video. She did watch the packing video because she remembered to mark front and back right there. See that? It makes it easier because then you know as you're unpackaging it on a live stream like this, this is the front of the machine right here. So well done. Well done on that for sure. All right. I'm probably going to pull this away and cut right down the middle and then try to wiggle this out, wiggle this machine out so that we can get after this bubble wrap and discover what we have here. Now here, again, a very, very good job of using my general principle. But the only thing I'll say is when you got this much play in the packing material and it's not tightly sucked into the machine, kind of like form fitting, almost like form fitting jeans. When you pack a machine, kind of like you saw me do with that machine that was going out to Mindy out in Las Vegas, Nevada. You saw me really use that 80 gauge stretch wrap to just really pull that bubble wrap in tight to the machine so that it wasn't spongy like this. So that's the only feedback I would give is if you're going to be shipping a machine, Roni has really made a very, very good effort to try to follow my packing principles. Just add that stretch wrap and really suck that in close to the machine. You can see how much that gives out. It's probably popping out almost 3 inches or so, maybe 4 inches. We want this really, really form-fitting, tight to the machine, and then go over the top of that stretch wrap with packing tape so that it holds that form close to the body of the machine. And then these extra spaces around here, like here and over here, go ahead and fill that with something else to immobilize the machine so that it can't wiggle like it is right now. And like it was when I shook it before, you could hear that machine pitching back and forth. Take away all that mobility so that the machine can't rock, it can't pitch, it can't move in any way, and that reduces the likelihood of damage dramatically. Okay? And then tuck that in nice and tight. See, if we pull that in tight like it would be, we've got probably about 3 inches that could be filled with other material to provide even more of a safe ride for this machine. Yeah. And again, I'm not beating up Roni. Our classroom is about learning. And yeah, so learn from it. Learn from it. And this is a little bit better box, but it's still not going to afford as much protection as it could. That's fun. I'll kind of tuck this over because it has Roni's address again. Other than Winnemucca, I'm going to leave Winnemucca, Nevada, which if you didn't know it, Winnemucca, Nevada is zip code, not area code, zip code 89445. You didn't know that, you know it now. 89445 is Winnemucca, Nevada. And then Roni cutely writes on the front of here, Master Repairman Scott. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I am. I do repairs, I do restorations, I do the whole shebang, whatever the customer needs. Whatever the customer needs. And whatever the machine needs. So we've got more of this as well, kind of in there as kind of a filler. Nothing wrong with this stuff. It's not brittle like some of the styrofoam. It's got pliability, which is really good. But I would just say anchor it in some way so that it doesn't fall out of position. Because again, over 2,000 miles, this is going to be shifting around and banging quite a bit. This stuff will drop out of position. And then all of a sudden, it's not protecting the machine where you wanted it to protect it anymore. So tape it to the core of the machine, tape it to the inside of the box or whatever to keep it in position for the entire journey. All right. It looks like Christine has to step away. Christine from Canada, thanks again for the call in. So I knew how to pronounce that city. And you have a great rest of your day. Have a blessed day. All right. Let me see if I can get this out. Set this down temporarily. So Roni's done a really good job on the bottom of the machine. I'll just show you with the camera real quick. On the bottom of the machine, we've got a thick piece of styrofoam to give a cushy ride. And an additional piece as well on the bottom of this second box. So again, this is great. And that feels like a pretty good grade of styrofoam. The only thing I would say is kind of like the piece that she put on the bottom of the machine, anchor this to the box in some way so that it doesn't shift around. You know what I mean? Put it like right there, anchor it, tape it on the side over here or something like that so that it's going to stay in place and it doesn't move out of range, and doesn't possibly compromise the protection of that machine. But this is a great idea. These two thick layers of styrofoam, great idea. All right, let me set that there. Get this out of the way. And again, go with this looks like it's from Walmart, huh? Walmart. I wonder what Walmart had in here. Does it say? Small something. Small pen and gear. I'm not sure what Walmart had in this box. If you all know, let's see if it says it. Wait a second. Yeah, I have no idea what Walmart so the outside box is from Quaker Cereal. The inside box is from Walmart, but I don't know what was in here. No idea. Some sort of maybe office equipment or office supplies or something like that. Oh, all right, let's get this back up there. So we're getting closer. And just as a reminder, if you want to try to win, or if you want to win a set of these double eye needles, all you have to do is text me why you love vintage sewing machines, why you love Cow Country. And if you text me, I'll go ahead and mail off a pack of these double eye needles to you. And Susie's already put my cell phone, my text number in there several times. But if she wants to go ahead and do it again, I'll give away 2 of these during this live stream. If anyone wants to take that extra step of sending me a text, and then this other one will be given away on Tuesday morning when I show you more of that Bernino 125. Or if no one calls in, I'll still have all 3 packs of these on Tuesday, where I could possibly give more of them away. And again, if you want to do a review, on Cow Country on Google, do a Google review on Cow Country, you can get entered to win a pair of these professional Taylor Guggenheim shears, 9-inch shears, that I'll be giving away officially on Tuesday morning. And I think I'm going to go ahead, like I said, and include all the reviews that have been done by Cow Country members, not just the ones that have come in during this week leading up to Tuesday, but all of them. And there's several people that have written some really, really good reviews. So if you feel like you didn't write the greatest review, you just kind of did it quick, you can always go in there and edit your review before Tuesday, because I'll go ahead and read through all of those, and then we'll vote on them. And then whichever one gets the most votes, that individual will go ahead and win these professional tailoring shears. Really beautiful shears. Beautiful shears. And I'll be looking for that rap song as well. Be looking for that rap song about Winnemucca. I'm never going to get it right. Winnemucca, Nevada. Do a rap song, you can win that really cool sewing mug. All right, how do I tackle this puppy? I think I can get in right about there. We'll start taking these layers off. Yep, I got an opening right there. So we had a number of guesses. We had guesses about maybe a Minnesota sewing machine that would have been made in Minnesota, obviously, by the company that started originally making watches and then distributed a lot of their Minnesota machines through Sears and Roebuck in the day. We had a guess of a Swedish Beauty. We had a guess of a 201 class machine. And I would just challenge you to narrow, if someone's really determined to go with a class 201 machine, narrow it down more, because there's a number of different versions of the 201. There's a 201K. There's the 201-1. There's a 201. I'll just read you the list of them real quick. I think I've got that on here somewhere. Hold on a second. Yep, there it is. So if you're determined to go, say, with a class 201, let's say that's your go-to guess. If you're determined to go with a class 201 and that's your go-to guess, then narrow it down to a 201K, which again would have come out right around 1934. The 201-1, that would have come on the scene in 1935. That would have been a rotary treadle style machine, the 201-1. And then the 201-2, which would be a gear-driven machine. 201-3, which was an external belt machine. And then finally, the 201K3, which most people have never heard of the 201K3. That would have been a cast iron machine. You want to talk about a heavy machine. And I think that would have been the bulk of them. Well, that's not true. There's a couple of others that I could read off. 201-4 would have been a rotary hook hand crank class 201 type machine. So if you want to guess 201 again, it's going to be one of those versions, one of those variations. There would have been a 201K21 that would have been an aluminum 201 type machine. There was a 201K23 that would have been also aluminum, but they would have given you some color choices, beige, brown, or black. And then finally the 201K24, which was basically the same as a 201K21. So again, it would have been an aluminum-based machine as well. So those are all the variations. If you want to go with a 201 that might be in here, then you've got to choose the variation as well. So either a 201K, a class 201 that would have been introduced in the US in 1935, and it came in different versions like the 201-1, 201-2, 201-3, 201K3, 201-4, 201K21, 201K23, 201K24. I feel like saying bingo right about now with all those numbers. Like bingo, I got that. Check my board. I won. So anyway, I push you towards that because we can say a 201, but when you all of a sudden discover all the variations, all the variants of that class that there were, it forces you to kind of narrow it down and tell me, okay, it was a 201 and this is the variant that I think it was. You know what I mean? Yeah. Pushes you a little bit harder, a little bit heavier. Yeah. Okay. Good. It's fun to learn, isn't it? It's fun to learn. Okay. What am I doing now? Let's cut down this side. And you can see Roni has incorporated some foam wrap along with the bubble wrap. So she's added extra protection to the machine inside of here by trying to incorporate those two packing materials, the bubble wrap and also the foam, the foam pieces that are kind of malleable. And if you pull them in, they're going to mold themselves right to the body of the machine. And I'm using these scissors that Emma sent me. You can see how they're kind of curved. They're a surgical scissors, so as I'm cutting, they're naturally pointing away from the machine so I don't cut something or damage something. Kind of roll that back now. And you can see all this extra foam wrap that Roni has added to try to increase the protection factor of the machine. This is actually really, really good that she did this. The only thing, again, is when you use any of these materials, use that stretch wrap. I use an 80 gauge stretch wrap, like when I talked about in that video of packing. I'm totally blanking. Wait, I'll get it. Mindy. When I was packing Mindy's 66K to go to Nevada, the same state that this machine came from. I talked about really pulling that stretch wrap in so it body fits, it's skin tight to that machine to immobilize it and to afford a higher level of protection. So that's the only thing I would encourage. This is a great approach that Roni took. Just use that stretch wrap to pull it in so it's tucked into the machine nice and tight. Lots of this foam wrap. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. Grab that stuff out of the way. And here we're down to the machine already, it looks like. We're almost down to this machine already. I'm going to give you a closer look, and it'll help you, I think, if you can kind of look through the remaining packing material around the machine. It'll help you to zero in decidedly on what machine this might be, whether it's a Minnesota, whether it's a Husqvarna, whether it's a 201 class, whether it's whatever. You're going to look at some of the features, kind of like when I was in the military. When I was in the military, we didn't always have the benefit of maps. We didn't have the benefit in many instances of GPS. So we used terrain features when we were doing what's called dead reckoning. Dead reckoning in the military, and I hope this doesn't bore you, I hope you find it interesting, but when you're in the military and you do dead reckoning, it's basically saying you don't have the benefit of GPS, you don't have maps, you don't have any schematic to look at, all you have is terrain features. And so sometimes if you do have a map, you can look at the map and you can look at the topography and you can look at the terrain features, and then you can try to figure out where you are, or you can figure out more readily where you're going as you're navigating the land, trying to get to, from point A to point B. So what you can look at now is the topography of the machine from what you can see and see if it helps you to narrow it down. Okay? It's about all we can see right now. I don't know if that helps or not. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps a little bit. And Susie Tippin from Oklahoma is saying, what about a 201K? What about a 201K? I'm going to tell you it's probably not a 201K because as we looked at the topography of the machine, as best as I could show it to you through the camera, it looks like there might be additional features on this machine that would preclude a strict treadle type base machine. There might be, as we cut more away, you'll get a better view of this, and then you'll be able to narrow it down even more, I think. Narrow it down even more. But that's a great guess. That's a great guess. Very, very good guess. Okay, let's remove more of this and see what we can see. Get this big chunk out of the way so we can see around that a little bit more easily. There we go. All right, let's get a little bit more of this out of the way. But I love your guesses. I love your insight. I love your intelligence as you're looking at this. And others that are kind of watching right now, step out courageously like Susie from Oklahoma is doing. Susie from Oklahoma, she's not afraid to throw out a guess. She knows that she's not going to be judged. She knows that she's not going to be criticized or made fun of. Like you sometimes see in some of the blogs, you get these sewing savant people that think that they're know-it-alls and people will try to engage in conversation in these blogs, and these savant people make them feel like they're so dumb, so ignorant. That's not going to happen in this setting. I guarantee it, because even if I'm focused over here, someone tries to take a track like that of criticizing somebody, the moderating team will take care of that individual. They really will. We don't want that kind of culture here. We want a culture where people feel comfortable to step out and to venture guesses with no fear at all of reprisals or criticism or judgment or anything like that. So again, I applaud Susie from Oklahoma and others that are willing to say, I'm going to throw out a guess. What's the harm? What's the big deal? I'm just going to do it. So keep more of that going. Don't be afraid to throw out a guess. I think it's brilliant. I think it's great. All right, let's get some more of these layers out of the way. I'm kind of pulling this away as I'm cutting so that I'm not coming anywhere near the machine. I think I just knocked over somebody. Nope, I almost knocked over. I almost knocked over the gang over here. You see them right down there. They're really close to the action. I just hope I don't knock any of them over. Because then the kids that ran into the room when they heard me singing, they're going to be like, he's beating up the little people, Dad. He's beating up the little people. Ah! Yeah, that's not good. Let's not do that. All right, see if I can pull that around a little bit. And I think I've said this before in the live stream, as we're getting closer and closer to seeing this machine clearly. Down in Oklahoma, there's a really, really cool sewing machine museum. At least I think it's still there. I haven't talked to WK in a very long time. WK is the owner and the operator of this museum that's down in Oklahoma. I'm blanking right now. I almost said Lawton, Oklahoma, but that's not right. There's another city. Does anyone remember? I've told you about this multiple times. And again, I was up very late last night working on that Bernina 125. I didn't get much sleep, so my brain is not as sharp as it usually is. But there's a sewing machine museum down in Oklahoma. I don't know how close it is to Susie down there. It may be a good distance away. But there's a really, really nice sewing machine museum down there that WK had been running all the way through the pandemic. And I've got an open invite to come down there, and we're going to restore a featherweight sewing machine together and videotape it and then share it with his followers locally and my followers as well, and just kind of make it a big occasion eventually. Eventually, that's the plan anyway. So if anyone remembers the name of that city in Oklahoma that sewing museum is in, it's an interactive sewing museum. So you don't just walk by and look at things behind glass. You actually can sit down to these machines and actually sew on them. You know, whether you're a child or an adult or whatever, it's very, very interactive, which is brilliant. So I'll look at the live chat, see if anybody got the name of the city that WK's museum is in. So Susie's saying a 201K. Al Koss is saying, what about a 1591? I love the involvement of all of you that are stepping out in the live chat and getting involved, getting engaged. It's brilliant. Let me ask Al Koss, and I'm going to kind of put Al Koss on the spot a little bit, because I don't think Al Koss is intimidated by anything. So one of the things I said about this particular machine, as I was zeroing in on the different variations, was that 1935 might be a big date in relation to this machine. 1935 might be a big date in relation to this machine. And the 1591 was introduced in what year? Does anyone know what year the 1591 was introduced? But that's really a smart correlation that Al Koss just drew, because I talked about the machine that would have kind of a correlation to this machine, I talk about them interchangeably in some respects. And so focusing in on the 1591 is a real smart move. Plus, you might have gotten a glimpse of one of the topography features of this machine when I went by, and that might have also steered you in the direction of the 1591. So with that said, let me look at the chat and see what y'all are saying. And Al Costa is saying 1930. That's a really, really good guess. It was a little bit later than that for the class 15-91. And again, as most of you know already, the 1591 is going to have an oscillating hook system like our Bernino 125 that we looked at just a little bit ago. The machine that's in here, I mentioned that this machine in here is going to have a rotary hook system. It's going to have a rotary hook system. So that hook is going to be going all the way around, as opposed to the oscillating hook system like our Bernino 125 on the other workbench, and our 1591 made by Singer is going to have an oscillating hook system like this, like a pendulum. So unfortunately, we would have to exclude the 1591 that was first introduced very close to what Al Cost said. Al Cost said 1930. It was actually 1932. 1932, the 1591 came on the scene, and it had an oscillating hook system. This would have come on the scene a little bit, and it's going to have a rotary hook system. Have a rotary hook system on this machine. But there's going to be a real tight-knit correlation between what Al Cost said with the 1591 and what this machine is right here. A real close. I would almost say that they're family. They're family. They are about as close to family as you can get. They're really, really close. I mean, we're talking Thanksgiving dinners. We're talking about they take camping trips to Winnemucca. They go to Winnemucca all the time, and they go on camping trips together. The 1591 and this machine, they're like peas and carrots. They are like peas and carrots, or like cereal, if you believe what the box says on the outside with Quaker Oats cereal. You never know, right? But yeah, I mean, that's just a little direction. And Stephen Armstrong is saying, because Stephen Armstrong is from Oklahoma too, if I remember correctly. I think, aren't you from Oklahoma, Stephen? I believe you might be. Somewhere in that neck of the woods. Stephen Armstrong, I think, might be from Oklahoma. And Stephen is saying, Scott, I'm not going to bend, man. I am not going to bend. I am sticking with featherweight. I'm going to stick with featherweight. Susie is saying, what about a 99? What about a 99? I'm going to eliminate the 99, not because it isn't a great answer. It's a brilliant answer. It's an absolutely brilliant answer. But the 99 is more of a 3/4 size machine like its counterpart, the 192K, the Spartan. And this is going to be a full-size machine. This is not going to be a 3/4 size machine like Al Costa's guess of a 1591. A 1591, they're part of the same family. 1591 is going to be more of a 3/4 size oscillating machine. This is going to be a full-size rotary hook machine. Full-size rotary hook machine. So they're going to be, it's kind of like fraternal versus identical twins. They're going to share certain attributes. Certain attributes are going to be common between the 1591 and this machine, but they're going to have their unique differences at the same time. They're going to have their unique differences. They're not going to be identical. They're going to be different, but some similar attributes, if that makes sense. Oh, I'm sorry, Stephen. I moved Stephen from Oklahoma to Kentucky. Stephen is north of Oklahoma, if I've got my geography right, and he's from the great state of Kentucky. And I should know that. I should know that because I ended up sending one of Susie's hats to Stephen in the great state of Kentucky. What a beautiful state. If no one's ever driven through Kentucky before and seen that, just talk about topography and geography and everything else. Kentucky's really, really a lovely state to put on your bucket list if you've never been there before. Kentucky and Oklahoma, all those areas down there are just a place to visit, aren't they? 201-3. Is it a 201-3? That's a great guess. And again, like I shared, let's see, who was that? That was Susie. Susie from Minnesota said, what about a 201-3? That's going to be a belt-driven class 201 machine. It's going to be belt-driven. And when I went over the machine very slowly, on this end of the machine, you might have seen some features in the topography of the machine, which would indicate that it might not be, and here's a big clue, it might not be belt driven. One of the things I described to you when I went down that long list of class 201 machines, because I think it was Susie from Oklahoma was the first one to zero in and say, what about a class 201 machine? What about a class 201 machine? One of the first things I said about the evolution of the class 201 machine as it went from the 201K in 1934 to the class 201 that would have been introduced around 1935 in the US. As I went through all the different evolutions of the class 201 machine, I talked about it also eventually evolving into a gear-driven type machine. Gear-driven right away precludes belt. Right away precludes belt. So if it's a 201-3, we're going to have a belt-driven topography feature over here. If it's not a belt-driven 201 class machine, we're going to see another feature that defines it in a different way. And it might, let me give you a big clue, really big clue. If it is that class 201, then it's going to have that shared characteristic of engine locomotion with the 1591. The 1591 has a certain locomotion design on it that gives that power down the main shaft. And if this is that full size version of that type of locomotion, then it's going to be a different variant. It's going to be a different version of that class 201 than a -3. But that's a great guess, Susie. It's a great guess. And hopefully some of those little tricky hints that I just kind of plugged in there real quick will help you to zero on what this machine might be. All right, let's cut away some more of this packing material. See if we can zero in a little bit more on what did we get? What did we get from Winnemucca, Nevada? What came from Winnemucca, Nevada? Let's see if we can zero in a little bit more on that. Give you a clear view of this machine as we take a couple more layers of this bubble wrap that Roni put on this machine to safeguard it in its almost 2,000-mile journey from Winnemucca, Nevada to Oconto, Wisconsin. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over the top of this again with the camera and give you a close view. We removed another layer. Kind of look across the machine. Again, it's going to be a full-size rotary hook machine. It has some sort of a relationship with the class 1591. Has some sort of a relationship with the class 1591. Some sort of relationship. See if you can figure it out. Go really, really slow. This is the faceplate area over here, and we're kind of moving over towards the right side of the machine. I'm going to cut my hand over there because we're getting a little bit of a weird thing on the screen. Okay, hopefully that helps a little bit. I hope that helps a little bit on zeroing in on what this machine is from Winnemucca, Nevada. Winnemucca, Nevada. Get this next layer off. This machine would have been introduced right around 1935. This machine would have been introduced right around 1935, about 3 years after the 1591 was introduced. The other thing I can tell you about this particular machine and its class is it would have been the direct replacement for another machine class that was in production for almost 50 years. That's a big clue. This particular machine class would have been a direct replacement for another machine class by this company that would have been in production about 50 years. This particular class was in production for around almost 3 decades. So a little bit less than the class that it replaced, but it was still a direct replacement, according to that manufacturer, for that other class that would have been in production for almost 50 years. I'll look at the chat again. Now you can really see that machine starting to pop through. It's starting to pop through and say, hey, look at me, look at me. This is what I am. This is what I am. This is what I am. Okay, so we've had a number of guesses, and now Susie from the great state of Oklahoma is saying, all right, Scott, you've given us a lot of great clues, and I'm going to zero in. Susie from Oklahoma had a number of different guesses, possibilities, and that's fine. That's great. Now she said, okay, all right, you've given us more to chew on. You've given us more to chew on. I'm going to zero right in. And I'm going to say, what about the 201-2? What about the 201-2? Is that the machine that was sent from Winnemucca, Nevada? Is that the machine? Let us know. We want to know. Maybe. No, I'm not going to mess with you anymore. Susie from Oklahoma nailed it. She's spot on. She's spot on. And the class 201 that was first introduced in the UK in 1934, later in 1935 in the US, with that very first 201-1 that would have been that treadle-based machine. Right after that, in 1935, they rolled out the 201-2. What historically is significant about the 201-2? There was another company that used this specific class 201 to do something. Does anyone remember me sharing that story with you all? And this company that did something special with the 201-2 would have been doing it between 1948 and 1952. 1948 and 1952. If this helps you in any way, I'm trying to do a fun car sound effect. I'm not doing very well. Those were horrible car sound effects. I think it was Al Cost that said, kids popped into the room when they heard me singing. Those children that popped into the room to hear me singing could do such a better job in making a car sound effect. I just totally bombed that. It was horrible. It didn't even sound like a car, for goodness sakes. What the heck? What the heck? Jiminy crickets. Wahoo. Wahoo. Rolls Royce. Susie said Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce, yes. And all of you know this. All of you know this because you're very smart. You pay attention when you're in class. Big time. You pay attention. Rolls Royce, out of any machine they could have picked in the late 1940s, as they were looking at those leather interior panels in their luxury automobiles, picked the Singer 201-2 to sew those interior leather panels in their luxury cars. And they did that from around 1948 until 1952. So that's why about 12, 13, almost 14 years ago, I was the first one in the world, and all of you know this is true. I was the first one in the world to start calling this machine what? What did I start calling this machine that Susie from Oklahoma nailed as the 201-2? I started calling this machine something. And if you type it into the live chat, it really shows that you're on it. You're on it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So while you're nailing it further, I'm going to take off the rest of this coating so we can see this machine that came from Winnemucca, Nevada, sent by my friend Roni to receive a lot of workshop magic. Let's take off the rest of this coating and we'll get down to this machine. And I've got to be really careful here. I've got to be really, really careful because you can see right here, I've got what probably looks like the foot controller tucked into the harp space of the machine, which is great. But I've also got this cord right here as well. I've got this cord right here, and I've got to, that's why when you're cutting things, you got to be really, really careful. You don't end up cutting this cord. Or I have to be careful I don't cut the cord. All right, let me go right there. Bring the camera down a little bit lower. Give you a different view of this machine now. Yeah, absolutely right. Susie from Minnesota nailed it. The Rolls Royce of Singer sewing machines. The Rolls Royce of Singer sewing machines. And now people around the world are calling it the same thing we are. See that? See the influence we have within our little classroom, within our little YouTube channel, comparatively to other YouTube channels. We are now influencing the language, the interaction, that the dynamics of people around the globe, that everyone now is saying, oh, you got a Rolls Royce of Singers. And people that don't know yet are going, what are you talking about? And then they have a chance to share their knowledge about the uniqueness, the historic, how this machine is so historically relevant when it comes to not only this class replacing another class that Singer had before. Does anyone remember what that other class was? There was another class of sewing machines that was in production of almost 50 years. And the class 201 that this 201-2 comes from ended up replacing that other class machine. Does anyone remember what that class is? Yeah, Glenn got one. Glenn got one. It looks like online, or what did Glenn say? Glenn said, next door neighbor put one on the curb. They put a Rolls Royce of Singers on the curb. We got to get them a welfare check. Are you serious? It was frozen up. And Glenn right away recognized what was on the curb and said, oh my goodness, gravy. I don't know if Glenn says gravy. Glenn, do you say gravy like I do? Did you look at that on the curb and go, oh my goodness, gravy? That's a 201-2. That's a Rolls Royce of Singer sewing machines. And you ran out there in your pajamas and your bunny slippers and you shouted at a loud voice, Oh my goodness, gravy! Holy mackerel! My neighbors are crazy. Do they know what they threw out on the curb? And Glenn sat down to that machine, did some of his own magic on it, and now it works great. It works great. How cool is that? What a great story. Yeah, it looks sad sitting there. Why wouldn't it? Who's going to throw a Rolls Royce on the curb? I don't. If I see a Rolls Royce of anything sitting on the curb, I'm gonna go after it. Yes, I am. I'm gonna go after that. There's that cord right there. That cord is right there too. So I got to really be careful as you're navigating around to unpack something that you don't cut the wrong spot. Because even though these are surgical scissors and they point away, they're razor sharp. So they would cut through something like that straight away. There's our foot controller right there. Does anyone know what this foot controller for the Rolls-Royce Singers, what is this foot controller rated at as far as amperage? I've talked a lot recently about amperage issues. I've talked about the FOF 130-6 that I shipped back out to Tennille out in Oregon, and it had come with an electronic foot controller. It was underrated. I explained that to the owner. And as they sat down to that machine and they started to try to operate that FOF 130-6, they were like, I don't like this at all. And so I prepared a Husqvarna foot controller rated at 1.5 amps to be shipped out to Tennille that she can use on that FOF 130-6 right away. And the motor is going to respond differently. It's going to be very fluid. It's going to be very, very, very smooth in engaging that motor, where an underrated electronic foot controller, it's going to cause hesitancy. It's going to cause that motor to sound like it's laboring, like it's struggling, which is with Tennille being a seamstress. You don't want to sit down to a machine that sounds like it's laboring and is struggling. So in this case, we're bringing Sweden technology to German technology, and it's going to be the right solution for Tennille's FOF 130-6. Any rate, blah, blah, blah. What is this foot controller rated at that goes with this Rolls-Royce of Singers? I'm just going to look at the live chat real quick to see if he nailed it. 1.6, 1.5 amps, 1.5, 1.6. So if Susie is saying the foot controller for this Rolls-Royce of Singers, this 201-2 would be rated at 1.5 or 1.6, that's not the case. It's going to be much lower than that. It's going to be much lower than that. I'll give you a big hint. Both the 1591 that I call the little brother of the 201-2, the 1591 I call the little brother of the 201-2. Both of these machines are either going to come with a 0.5 amp motor or a 0.6 amp motor, either a 0.5 or a 0.6. And you'll know that by taking off the potted cover on the back. It'll have a little nomenclature plate right underneath that cover mounted to the motor, and it's either going to say 0.5 amps or 0.6 amps. So the foot controller is always going to be, or should always be, rated a little bit higher than the motor, if that gives you a tip off or a clue as to what the amperage tolerance of this foot controller will be. And this is going to be a traditional foot controller, Bakelite style one. You can see it right here in the shot. It's going to be a Bakelite foot controller. And so yeah, try to guess the rating of this foot controller in relation to this motor. And I have no idea at this point, because Singer went back and forth. I have no idea what motor this is in here. It's either going to be a 0.5 or a 0.6 is what I would anticipate seeing. So what do you think? What's the rating on this Bakelite foot controller? Yeah, and Al Costa is saying somewhere between 0.5 to 0.7. And if you go with that higher number, of 0.7, show you in the shot on the bottom of this Bakelite foot controller, it's going to have the data plate. So 0.7, which means if the motor in this 201-2 is a 0.6, we still have a tenth of an amp tolerance higher in the foot controller than the motor, which is perfect. If it's a 0.5, we have even more. We've got 0.2 of an amp tolerance higher on the foot controller than the motor. Because this is 0.7. If it's a 0.5, we got 0.2. If it's a 0.6 amp motor, then we still have a tenth of an amp tolerance, which allows that motor to reach its peak RPMs and its peak potential once it's been optimized. If you have an unoptimized motor, it's even if it's got a little mark underneath that cover that says 0.6, you're not going to be getting 0.6 amps of power. You're going to be getting much less than that. And that's the thing to realize is don't immediately assume that if something has an amperage rating of a certain level that you're getting that full potential. You're only getting that full potential if that motor is running at its highest level of greatness. And with most sew-and-vacs and service centers not even dealing with the motor, as long as the motor runs, they leave it alone. They don't do a thing to it. Whereas in the workshop, I tear that motor apart and I do all of the optimizing of that motor. It's about 35 to 40 steps within that motor. And then that motor is delivering the full amperage rating that it's marked at. And that really is a key distinguisher. And that's why I get people that send me notes all the time from around the world. And they say, I've got the same make and model, and I can't go through that much leather. I can't go through that much denim. How does your machine do it so easily? It goes back to that optimizing process that I take these machines through. It's part of that workshop magic. And that's what sets the machines apart in being the strongest and the most robust machines in the world, with comparative models not even coming close. And I hope that doesn't sound boastful and braggy. I'm stating the fact that the process makes all the difference. All right, let's get the rest of this off so we can take a look at Roni's machine here. Got to be real careful back here too, because I've got more cord. Kind of show you, so I was beginning to remove more of this back here. More cord right there. So, it's always a good idea to, if you've got a cord that is hardwired into the machine, is draw that cord into a bundle, and by all means, like Roni did, tuck it into the harp area. Tuck it into the harp area, but bundle it together so that it's not kind of scattered around the machine, so that it doesn't accidentally get cut in the unboxing process. Just see, I just got another text. It's probably Ronnie saying, why are you beating up my boxes so much? What happened? Is Paula is in the live stream, and she said that Sunny lost her battle with cancer? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, what? Oh my Lord. Kathy King. Let me look at the live chat real quick, you guys. Hold on a second. Where is Paula? I'm scrolling up. Hold on a second. I see Tadal. I